What's up everyone? I'm your female otaku and I'm here to review episode 2 of ACCA. And we're back to reviewing in my dorm for the next 3 or 4 months. And also back to the background noise of the people outside my dorm. Welcome back. So I enjoyed this episode a little bit more than last week's, and that's because of the little twist there at the end. That did catch me off guard, but overall the episode was again a little more on the boring side. I mean, last week when I said that, to me it felt boring. A lot of people were just like, oh Sloan, then this probably just isn't for you. And I'm just like, no. I want to give this a chance. I'm not going to say straight off the bat that it's not for me, because if it wasn't for me, then I would have either dropped it right off the bat, or I wouldn't even have checked it out in the first place. But then again, the only reason why I checked it out in the first place was because of Madhouse. So, you know, maybe I should stop talking. All right. With this episode of ACCA, we go with Agent Rail, the rookie that everyone's keeping an eye on for because he has actually been doing pretty good at his job. But turns out that is not the case. Jean once again finding out more shady things going on in the other branches. This time Jean found out that even though Rail is good at arresting a bunch of people, Jean has also confiscated items but never actually returned them. He kind of kept them for himself because we find out that tobacco, there's have been like a lot of tobacco thefts, and that's because the people, when they steal the tobacco, they sell them off because it's a luxury good. And that's why, you know, when Agent Rail sees Jean smoking, he automatically thought that he was rich, and Rail hates the rich. And Rail, he has also been making deals with other criminals as well. And Rail also, he actually tried to apply to be a part of the internal or the foreign affairs branch, I believe it was. But that's where his hatred for the rich grew, because only the rich people got in. He's just so like, oh man, it doesn't matter how hard you work, only the privileged get everything. And then Jean's just still like, well, I wouldn't know anything about being privileged. I'm just a landlord over at that building that I live in. We also find out that Agent Rail smokes too. So Rail is kind of a scumbag, and now he's a creeper too, since ever since he laid eyes on Jean's Emoto, he's just like, she's so cute, and then began to stalk her. Oh God, Rail, why did you have to go down that route? Alright, so that's enough of Rail's story. Moving on to Jean. Jean is now on the west side of ACCA, and you know, he's doing some more investigating, things like that. But in the meantime, we have the higher-ups keeping an eye on Jean. And they hired someone to keep an eye on Jean, making sure that Jean isn't the one planning a coup d'etat, because, you know, they expect someone is planning a coup d'etat and they're actually suspecting Jean, because Jean, he's been wanting to quit, and he said that he has sent out transfer papers, but there's actually no official record of that, and no one really knows why Jean is staying, even though he said that he wants to quit. And so maybe he actually is planning a coup. Yes, there is a huge possibility that our main character is actually going to pull a twist on us, and if so, that would be pretty awesome, because normally we're supposed to know everything about the main character. Sure, some things may be revealed later on about their past, but their overall plan, their overall goals, normally we see that firsthand. But Jean is a rather mysterious main character, and we don't really know what's going on in his head. Heck, we still don't know why he's staying over at ACCA when he hates his job there. So perhaps there might be a twist later on showing us that, hey, Jean is actually pretty cool, and he's gonna be planning a coup. So the one that the higher-ups hired to keep an eye on Jean is Crow, or Nino. I will be calling him Nino. And Nino has been friends with Jean for the longest time, like since high school. I don't know how old they are. I mean, they look like they're in their 30s, but then again, he said that, and this could have been a mistranslation, but Nino said that he's been keeping an eye on him for like 30 years. So yeah, I don't know, manga creators, can you confirm their age for me, please? That would be a huge help. And the age of the sister, too, because apparently the Emoto is actually planning on becoming the landlord. Like, you know, as we know, the brother's the landlord, but she's like planning on like taking over it, so she's been actually doing some management here and there. And so I thought that she was actually a lot younger by the way she dresses and acts. But turns out she's a lot older, which doesn't make it so creepy that Agent Real likes her, but still, I'd really like to know her age if you can. And that was this episode, a little more enjoyable than last week's, but still, it's building up to something. So that's why I'm still willing to give this anime a chance. I'm not too sure if 3 episodes is enough for it, unless if it bores me to death in next week's episode, then I'll drop it. But it's definitely setting up for something, and that's why I'm sticking around. So let me know what you thought of this episode, and catch me later as I live react to Yamushi Pedal New Generation. I'm your female otaku, sayonara.